Valentine's Day comes around once a year. All our thoughts turn to love as the day it draws near. When sweethearts and darlings and husbands and wives pledge love and devotion for the rest of their lives. As the day turns to evening, soon nighttime does fall. Young people preparing for the Valentine's ball. As the night rings with laughter, some people still mourn the 48 children who never came home. Have we forgotten the suffering and pain, the survivors and the victims of the fire in our Tame? The mothers and fathers forever to mourn, the 48 children who never came home. Well, down in the stardust they all made their way. The bouncers stood back as they lined up to pay. The records are spinning and there's dancing as well. Just how the fire started no one could tell. In a matter of seconds confusion did reign. The room was in darkness, fire exits were chained. The firefighters wept for they could not hide their anger and sorrow for those trapped inside. Have we forgotten the suffering and pain, the survivors and victims of the fire in our Tame? The mothers and fathers forever to mourn, the 48 children who never came home. Well, all around the city the bad news had spread. There's a fire in the stardust, there's 48 dead. Hundreds of children are injured and maimed, and all just because fire exits were chained. Well, our leaders were shocked, grim statements were made, shed tears in the graveyards as the bodies were laid. The victims have waited in vain for 4 years. It seems like our leaders shed crocodile tears. Have we forgotten the suffering and the pain, the survivors and victims of the fire in our Tame? The mothers and fathers forever to mourn, the 48 children who never came home. 500,000 was spent on solicitors' fees, a fortune to the owner and his family. It's hard to believe that not one penny came to the working class people who suffer the pain. Well, days turn to weeks and weeks turn to years. Our laws favor the rich, or so it appears. A woman still waits for her lads to come home. Injustice breeds anger, and that's what's been done. Have we forgotten all the suffering and pain, the survivors and the victims of the fire in our Tame? Mothers and fathers forever to mourn, 48 children who never came home. Mothers and fathers forever to mourn, 48 children who never came home. Have we forgotten all the suffering and the pain? Well, the survivors and the victims of the fire in our Tame, and mothers and fathers forever to mourn, the 48 children who never came home.